Hey there, guys. What is going on? Sloppy here, playing some more Creativerse in the Project Singularity. Creativerse server, just admiring these corner roofs and stairs. They are so perfect. I am so happy they did this. I am so happy that these exist now. How's it going, guys? What's going on? How are you? Happy Tuesday. Anyways, you may or may not have heard, it is the week of Creativerse. The official Creativerse release is here, and at the time of recording this video, there was almost 6,000 people online, so the switch to official release has definitely blown up the game a little bit. Now we can see that it's a turtle. Look at that. It's my storage turtle. Anyway, with the official release of Creativerse comes some exciting news, and it's sort of exciting, a little melancholy, a little happy. I am not going to be playing on this world anymore as much. There's still projects in this world I want to finish. You know, I would love to finish the Museum of All Things Creativerse. There's a few more things that we have to do over there, and there's just a few projects that I would love to finish in this world. That being said, Tuesday and Thursday I play sort of Creativerse. That's my schedule, and I think from now on I'm going to be playing on the Creatinators server, which is a server I didn't start. It was Side and Master who sort of got it together, but it's basically a server with I think at time of recording this video, there's at least 16 people who are all streamers and YouTubers who play Creativerse a ton on the server, which is going to be super fun. There's collaborations and everything, and yeah, there's a few reasons why I wanted to switch over to that server. For one, the Project Singularity, love the guys, great group of people. Nobody really plays Creativerse anymore except for me. I'm pretty much the only person ever on the server, which isn't, a bad thing. They play other games. I think Rocket League is sweeping through Project Singularity at the moment. But yeah, definitely still want to play with those guys. Just, nobody's really playing Creativerse, so being on a server with active members just sounds like a pretty good time. Anyway, there's a bunch of other, well, that's pretty much the only reason. I just want to be on an active server, And it's kind of a shame because we just finished our storage turtle here, and I love this build. It's one of my favorite things I've ever built in this game, and we're not really going to get to use it, which is unfortunate. But anyway, as I've been thinking about this week of Creativerse, which is what I'm calling it, because I think I'm going to make a Creativerse video every day this week, or at least stream something. Yeah, week of Creativerse, official release. Why not a Creativerse video every day? Sure, I'll do it. Anyway, I was thinking about what we can do to sort of finish off at least this part of the series on the Project Singularity server. And I thought, why don't we take a little tour around what we've done, what we've built, and yeah. So, without further ado, let's, I guess go back to the beginning. Where did we start in this world? We'll do a little bit of a world tour, kind of through our journey. Our Creativerse adventure started a bit strangely. I forget who initially actually brought up the game. Somebody in the Project Singularity group said, hey, there's this cool game. I want to say it was Crane, but he'd been playing it a little bit. This was his world, and he sort of invited us in. It was free to play. We all jumped on. It was a fun time. None of us had any idea what we were doing, and it was a really good time. We started, I want to say it was somewhere back over that direction, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure. We started on just like a grass mountain. There was nothing around us. And then we found this little area that had a pond in the middle of it, and we sort of settled down and decided that we'd all build like a little house in this area, which is sort of exactly what happened. Obviously, there's a few more things now, but yeah. So what did we build first? We built this house. I was still new to the game, had no idea what I was doing, but I kind of liked some of the blocks, so I built this little modern-esque house. You know what? For a first house in a game, I'm pretty happy with it. I still think it looks kind of cool. I used the stone slabs. I was still super not used to like rotating blocks. That was blowing my mind. I built this little house, and it was really cute, and I really liked it. The idea was like a square design, and then each little like segment was a different thing. So like one little square, and the square was a farm, a patio. And I'm really happy with this house. I was really a big fan of it. Initially, there was processors and stuff down here, and then when I moved out, I sort of redid it like this. Walden gave me a chest full of hidden temple swords, which was really nice of him. Of course, I mean, how was he supposed to know that the greatest sword in the history of video games would come out? But yeah, we put a pool table down here. Upstairs, we had our bed. This was where my touchstone used to be, which was kind of inconvenient, but you know, it is what it is. And then back here, I'm going to touch a lag, but farming was always frustrating. I really dislike farming in this game, but we kept a little crop just for, you know, no reason really. No reason really. I added the downstairs addition a little bit later just to have some storage and stuff at spawn. And that was always kind of interesting. I think, though, pretty soon after I built this, I decided I wanted to move out a little bit. I wanted to go out and build sort of a big base and, you know, have a super cool and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, you get grand ideas and then you try and make them happen and go, oh, yeah. This was Hamnisu's house, I do believe. Yeah, this was Hamnisu's house. This was pretty early on in the server. And this one I thought was really cool because he actually used, like, carpet and like he did a little bit of like a landscape, and I hadn't thought about any of that, so I thought this house was really neat. And then what else was here originally? This guy here popped up in the first few days of the server, the infinite fuel generator and community warm worm, and I thought it looked really cool because it was like a little house with a garage. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what he was talking about. I didn't realize you could use lava or you could make these generators. So it was kind of cool because I learned sort of one of the mechanics of the game. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. Kind of ruining my video here, bud. But yeah, and then back when he made this, this was a really good way. I guess it's working again. It was a really good spawner for these guys, which you need the teeth from quite a bit. And I was having a really hard time finding them. And for whatever reason, everyone else on the server had this really easy time. They'd come up here, there'd be a bunch, they'd kill them. I had such bad luck finding a warm worm and getting a warm worm tooth. It was really tricky. Then one of my earliest projects was this guy here, which I was really happy with. I wanted a bunch of teleporters. This was like half the size originally. I wanted a bunch of teleporters because people were moving out, and you know, the teleporters are pretty important in this game. And then this got expanded as we sort of expanded down the line. Somebody figured out how to play with signs, and yeah, it was pretty cool. I could continue chronologically, but we might as well just look around everything else that's at spawn. Most of the rest of the builds were just random things I put together, except the farm up here was Keen's. She streams a lot. And she came on for a couple days and just built these couple blueprints, and they looked really cool, sort of overlooking spawn. You got the big barn. It was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. And let's go this direction, I guess, first. So yeah, what else was on the server? We built a bank at some point, and this was, you know what, in all honesty, it wasn't a build that took that long to build, but I was really happy with it. I had this vision of a bank, like a cartoon bank with these big pillars, and this was around the time that I discovered limestone walls and stuff. I had this vision in my head of like this big bank, and it came together pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. And I captured some guys, I made up some currency, Bank of Creativerse, National Bank of Creativerse, and there's some vaults down here that I don't remember my password to. Yeah, I was really happy with this build, actually. I thought it was kind of neat, and I thought it looked kind of cool in spawn, and it looked a lot like the bank I wanted to design, so that was pretty neat. Yeah, I built this watchtower. I don't really remember why. I thought it would just be cool to have a tower at spawn, and I think this was around the time that LEDs and stuff came out, so you can change these and make it an alarm. So if there's red lights, something's going down. If there's red lights on the tower, something's going down. See them up here. Ladders, still buggy. I always liked the view from up here, though. I think that's part of the reason I wanted to build a tower, was so I could have like an aerial view of this place, which is pretty cool. which is pretty cool. My voice is slowly disintegrating as we talk, so I apologize. But let's continue the tour. We have Walden's place over there. We'll check out that way and spawn after we go this way, I guess. But yeah, so this was sort of the center of spawn, and then stuff sort of spread out outwards. So anyway, let's go back down. Maybe. Let's just glide her off then. Or die, because my glider didn't deploy. There's some of that good old European server lag for you. I mean, who dies giving a world tour? I don't know. I don't know how I even managed that. Anyway, it looks super demented. It looks like a demented little thing when it's angry. But anyway, let's move on. Let's continue on the tour this way because pretty early on we found this path block, the stone path block, and I think it looks so good with grass. I just really love the texture. There's a little wax farm that I think Walden threw together, and then back this way, originally there wasn't a sign, but there was a path, and somebody did these hanging lanterns from the leaves with the chain and the these lamps, and I thought it looked so good, and I followed it, and there was no sign back here, and it was this awesome little build, but I just loved how he did the path. And then at the end, there's this build, a bunch of monsters outside, and just a cool little build. You go down here, he has a whole little storage room, and cool shapes and rotated blocks, and it was just a neat neat area. And then he did the stone shelving, which this was the first time I saw stone shelving. It was awesome. It was awesome. So a really cool little place. He was also the only person who I think had played this game before. So while we were all like diddling with the basics, he was building this. And just a gorgeous little lake and gorgeous walkway. Just everything about it was spot on. Spot on. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bank, blah, blah, blah. This was supposed to be the entrance to the museum. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Up here, this has been moved a few times. This was like a thing Walden put together. Walden's a big collector of things in video games, and he just collects recipes and armor and put it all in this room. And if you have extra recipes, the idea was to come and throw them in here. He also collected the event stuff. He collected one for every member of Project Singularity, which was not a small feat. Both the Halloween and the Christmas recipes, he played a lot. So yeah, that was pretty cool. The community storage, it's moved around a bunch. I guess as it's becoming nighttime, this would be a cool area. For Halloween, the Halloween blocks came out, and I decided, you know what'd be cool? To make a big haunted house. We didn't finish it in time for Halloween. It was much larger of a project than it should have been. This is the little entryway, which I love. The Halloween blocks, all the event blocks so far have just been so great. But yeah, this was the entrance. I wanted it to feel like it was its own little sort of enclosed ride. I used a lot of these weepwood leaves and custom trees, and this was my first time really playing around with like custom stuff, but yeah, a lot of custom trees. I tried to do landscaping with the cobblestone and the leaves, and I really think it's creepy. A lot of this grass was placed by me. I used the detritus, made a little lake. This was a lot of fun to make, and boy, did it take forever to do. I tried planting trees along the sides so it'd feel really enclosed. It didn't work out great. It could have used more stuff. I think if I were to do this again, I'd build like a wall of leaves behind so it really felt enclosed. But it was really cool. You have the gravestones. There's this little... I like to think it looks like a church. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat inside is nothing really, but the red lighting and the Halloween blocks. I mean, the Halloween blocks were just so spot on. Everybody gets a tombstone, and yeah. This iron fence is so nice. This took me forever, like terraforming this little area here with this bridge. I don't know why, but well, first placing reeds and lily pads. Oh, it is a hassle. But yeah, it was a pretty cool area to build in. It was a pretty cool area to build in. It was some great blocks to build with. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about landscaping. You know, just putting just subtle things, you know, the grass and some leaves, it really fills out, what a barren landscape, which is really neat. So this is the big show here, the big house. the big house. I tried to build a greenhouse, which came out terribly. This house took forever. This is a lot of blocks. I still don't think it looks very good. It was disappointing that this was the final project. I should have built a smaller house. I got so ambitious when these blocks came out. And you know what? You live and you learn, right? So this is the house. A lot of it's still sort of unfinished. By the time I actually stopped working on this, it was like middle of November and it felt very like Halloween had passed. But you know, I tried and I thought, you know, the kitchen's kind of cool. And I had a good time making it, so whatever. There's a room, yeah, there's a room back here with the fireplace and all this jazz. Upstairs, there's some bedrooms and, you know, I took time to like try and decorate, but it's definitely not a forte of mine. But, you know, I tried. I definitely tried and busted my hump doing it, which was kind of fun. It was neat to, you know, push yourself and try new things. And decorating is definitely not something I excel at. I think there's an attic. I don't think I ever did anything with it, though. No, it's nothing. It's nothing. But yeah. And then in the basement, there's a whole minigame parkour-ish thing. Minigame parkour-ish thing. Yeah, this is a maze, and then there's like a trivia game, and there's there's all kinds of stuff in the basement. I don't want to go through it because I think it'll take me a really long time because I don't remember the answers. But yeah, this area was you were supposed to come through it at night, and I wanted it sort of dimly lit. I think if I were to do an area like this again, I would be a lot better at it. Maybe, you know, I don't know, on the Creativerse servers when we have events or whatever. I really liked it. I learned a lot doing this, and it was one of the bigger things I did on the server, which was kind of cool. It was like probably 10, 15 episodes I was doing this, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Let's go through. What else do I have to show you guys at spawn? I'm sort of showing off other people's builds too, if you haven't been able to tell. Let's go... Well, we'll check out Walden's place first and wrap back around to that side of spawn. There's so much to show. So this is the back of the blueprints. This used to be a massive farm. This was all plowed and all planted. And one day, we were trying to figure out why there was so much lag at spawn, and then removed some of the crops, and a lot of the lag disappeared, which was really cool. So crops, I don't think they do anymore, but they used to cause a ton of lag. But this was a massive farm. This was the farmhouse. Back here, this is an infinite diamond generator. This was really early on in the server. I remember basically logging on one day, and somebody had built this massive diamond structure, and I was like, what? How do you even do that? And I found out about this trick. So if you throw a freeze bomb onto tar, which is obviously renewable, if you throw a freeze bomb onto tar, it turns to coal. You firebomb coal, it turns to diamond. So that's really awesome. And over this way, let's get back on the path here. I don't know what this is. That's the farmhouse. Oh, okay. So over here was Walden's place, which has gone through a few transformations. He grabbed this little island at spawn, which is a really cool area. And it's gone through a few different variations, this house. He's got teleporters back there. His storage room recently got updated. So now he's got sort of this more intuitive storage room, I suppose. Yeah, this house, oh, it changed a lot over the renovations. But yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got a big thing out back with the farms. It's a nice house. It's a nice place. It's a very nice place. A very nice place. Back here. So I kind of started expanding my builds into this direction over here just because we were running out of room that way. This is the entrance to the museum. The museum is a giant project that I did a tour on recently. The museum is a massive project that I still want to continue working on. That's why I'm sort of not done in this world, because this is a project I really want to finish. The idea was to sort of have it as a giant museum of all things Creativerse, and this is the entryway. It's sort of a little bit of a miniature version of what the center of the museum looks like. If you guys haven't seen the museum project, I worked on it for a while. It's really, I think, kind of cool. But yeah, this was just housing for it. This is also where the adventure starts. If you guys search the Museum of All Things Creativerse, that's my adventure of the museum. But yeah, that was a pretty recent build. And then back here, I don't know if it was... No, it wasn't when machines came out. I think it was when they... Oh, treasure chest. I think it was when you could start pushing around mobs. I built this soccer stadium for Pigsley Soccer. It has a fully working scoreboard. The only thing I never got finished was the timer for when the game ends. But you can play it, and you can keep score. It keeps track of all the Pigsies. It'll do everything you want. It has a really great view of the area. I really liked this build, actually. You can see all the different wirings and stuff. But yeah, the scoreboard will work up here. I created like a counting system. I built a tutorial for it. If you guys are interested in that, it's on the channel somewhere. But I built a whole counting system using sensors and stuff. It was really easy. It's a really basic thing. But yeah, so this is a fully working Pigsley Soccer, except there's no timer system for it. And then if you go down below, there's actually like little locker rooms and stuff. There's a red team and a blue team. And if you score a goal, the goal lights up with, you know, the color of your team. It's, you know, it's a basic little thing. Sleep real fast. It's a pretty basic little machinery system, but it works and I like it. Let's just check out the early morning view. This is one of my favorite views of the server. I really liked building this stadium. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is sort of the far end of spawn, I suppose. So if we head back sort of into spawn, we'll check out the other side of it. I'm thinking this might be a two-part world tour, so we'll probably check out the rest outside of spawn. In Thursday's video, we'll go through the rest of the server, because it's already getting pretty late, so Thursday will be part 2. In our a week of Creativerse, we'll have a two-part world tour, I guess. So we saw everything sort of that direction at spawn. Let's go this way. So this is Update Hill. Anytime an update in this game comes out, obviously I make a video on it. But also, Walden comes on and just likes to check out the blocks. So anytime there's an update, you'll see Walden up here. And he'll just be making the blocks, playing with them. And so it kind of became Update Hill by accident. It used to just be a barren spot that we would come and play with the update. And then he made it an official Update Hill. Over this direction, this is another Walden construction. It's an infinite liquid, I guess, farm. So all the liquids in the game are renewable. You know, you can farm them super easily. And that's what this is. It's all of the liquids. You basically just walk up, stand, and collect. Probably something I'll be building at my base soon. But yeah, then you put storage for them, and just a nice little build. This was my attempt. There was a period of time where I learned that, I think it was actually, they updated the game so that blocks had sections. So, you know, you have stone, you have Grecian, you have Adobe, you have Moroccan. And one of the times they updated the UIs, they added this, I believe. But basically, I was like, oh, these are really cool. I want to use them. How good are the medieval blocks? I wanted to use them, and so like I would do builds based on like rustic or arctech or haunted. So this was my rustic build. It was I had this idea for this creepy little old-looking house back here, and this is how it came out. There was no corner stairs or anything at the time, which was a huge hassle for me. I really hated that there was no corners. I complained about it a lot. I also hate that there's stucco wall. The stucco wall looks, it just doesn't work. Anyway, this was kind of a fun little build, though. It's kind of creepy looking and old and dingy, and it was fun to build with new blocks. There's actually a corruption spawner down there, so you can go and there's always things that you can fight. There's sometimes treasure chests. It was kind of a fun little build. Up here, Walden did something. We never really expanded too much into this area. Walden built this giant pool. I forget what he was going to build up here, but it was kind of a cool little thing. I think he was going to put shops and things, but yeah, he built a big pool up here, which is kind of neat. It's a nice area. And what was this? There's more stuff this direction. We're almost done with spawn, and it takes a while. There's a lot of stuff, man. So this was Ruark's place. I think this used to be a giant R. This was Ruark's place that he set up when we first launched the server like a year ago. I don't think he really cared too much for the game. But yeah, it's sort of barren. This is a fancy teleporter room. I did a whole Christmas village with the Christmas blocks. The gingerbread blocks and the holiday lights and stuff all came out at Christmas time. And I did a big gingerbread village because I was super happy with the blocks. And it was a really fun build that we'll check out next world tour, I think. But yeah, this is just a fancy way to get to it. there was no purpose to build this other than to have that there. So anyway, that's about it at spawn. The pathway continues that direction, and we will check out all that stuff next time. This has been already pretty long, but that was basically everything at spawn. And I guess we started with the turtle. It's been a lot of fun in this world, and I look forward to the rest of the tour on Thursday, where we will check out the Christmas village, my base that I started, the museum. There's probably other stuff we have to check out. But that was Spawn. This is the Project Singularity server. I'm still not done on this server. I do want to work on the museum and continue that project, but for, sort of my Let's Play, I guess, I'm going to be playing on the Creativerse servers with a whole bunch of other people that are really active, so that should be a lot of fun, collaborations and stuff. I'll be making a video on that server tomorrow during my week of Creativerse, so my Wednesday video will be on that server, which is really cool. I've also been streaming on that server, so check out those if you want to. And leave a like if you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments if you guys have been following around for a while and you have like a favorite thing I've done, because I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm not sure what like my favorite thing I've built on this server is. There's been a lot of fun builds. So let me know what you guys think. And come back on Thursday for part 2 of the world tour. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are into Creativerse. A lot more to come, and I'm excited about it. It's also kind of funny going through like some of my early builds, because it's like I've learned so much about the game since then that I had absolutely no idea before. Also, the game has changed so much. This is over a year old, some of these builds. It's crazy. But anyway, come back Thursday for the rest of the tour. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later. Ciao.